Hello, Kerry.
Hey, man.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the MiniMapCast. I'm Jeremy. You're Kerry. I got him. Excellent. I was thinking, all right, how can I really get you at the beginning of every single episode? And that one absolutely got you.
We've been sitting here for 3 hours.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We have been sitting here for 3 hours. I've experienced.
We turned the corner 30 minutes ago when we were like nearly there, and then we started talking about so much stuff where it was like, you started talking to me about so many things you thought I knew were facts, and I'm like, I've never heard of this thing in my life, Jeremy. And then you're like, look, here are these people you know in this photo with that. This is what they did for years. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I was primed to not hold it together there. I was under duress.
Oh, goodness gracious. Excellent. And you know, you audience, if you like being told things that you are not aware of, then you're in the right place, because this is the MiniMapCast, minimap.com.au's premier video games podcast. I am Jeremy. I will be one of your hosts today, and joining me, as always, is Kerry Palmer.
What's the opposite of being gaslit, where the things that you're being told are true and you can't believe it?
That's like yeah, like what's the Solo version of Mandela effect? I guess it's just not knowing. It's just
it's just being told. It's just learning.
It's just being ignorant. Oh, goodness gracious. If you don't know, MiniMapCast is the premier podcast of minimap.com.au, an Australian independent video games website. If you like what you're hearing, first of all, seek help. Second of all, make sure you tell your friends and give the show a positive rating. Wherever you listen to your podcast, it makes a huge difference and only takes a few seconds. Gary's just like miles away. He's like out of focus so far away.
I took a big gulp of water, but I wasn't done laughing.
If you want to get notified every time a new episode is released, make sure to follow us on social media. We are at MiniMapAU on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and also Twitch. And also, what is it? I think it's just at minimap.com.au on Blue Sky.
I think that's right.
Yeah. And Minimap also wishes to say a big thank you to Shook for letting us use the Moog Model D Improv as the music for the MiniMapCast. You can listen to more of Shook's music at shook.bandcamp.com. Was that right, Kerry?
Yes, you were right.
Excellent.
It's at minimap.com.au on Blue Sky.
Wonderful. You have no idea how much quietly annoying it is to have that on Blue Sky.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we can make it custom, and then it's like, now it's non-standard.
Well, like there's not even that. It's like actually setting that up. Every now and again, it is broken once or twice, and I have to like go into like the domain level settings of Minimap and adjust the like what's it called, the like CNAME variables and stuff. It's a thing. The things
sounds like it.
The things you learn. Kerry, it is the 22nd of October of recording.
Mm-hmm. Does that mean it's been 10 days since PAX?
Yes. It also means it's been like 15 days since the beginning of Games Week.
Yeah. I don't feel like I've properly recovered yet.
More than that, isn't it?
Probably more than that. Yeah. GCAP would have been like 16, 17 days.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Yeah, it's a hell of a couple of weeks there. I mean, I did what I usually do, which is mostly just PAX and a couple of other things. And you did what you usually do, which is everything possible in 2 weeks.
I did every single event bar one.
Which was?
In Sydney, there was an event called Waypoint Constellations.
I heard about that. It looked a bit kind of like Parallels-esque.
Yeah, it is. And like, it's funny because I went to get a ticket and they were already sold out by then. I'm like, oh well, whatever. And I signed up for the wait list. And then at 8 p.m., they had released more tickets, and so I got a notification saying that I could make it. But by that point, I had made it back to my hotel room, and I'm like, I'm not going out.
Yeah. It was like the first night you were going to get a good night's rest.
Well, it was the day I flew in.
Oh, right.
I was absolutely exhausted.
Yeah, and still tired from the week before, and
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, so it's been Melbourne International Games Week and South by Southwest Sydney, which I also attended. How did you go?
well, yeah, like I said, I did it wasn't quite as full my time as yours was. How did I go? I think this was probably the best year for this type of stuff that I've been a part of since COVID. I think PAX in particular was run really well. The show floor was laid out in such a way that it like everything was where it should have been, and you weren't assaulted by blasting audio on like that you couldn't escape from. Like it was all done in such a good way. Even though it was really busy, it wasn't oppressive, and there was plenty of room. I think that the booths were a bit less dense when it came to the indies, so there was more space there. Like PAX did really well. Parallels was also excellent. Yeah, and like Acme had a couple of other things on. I went to the talk that Maddie Thorson and Noel Berry did about Celeste.
I'm so bummed that I didn't get a chance to see that. I was really keen for it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. If for those who are interested, they did do a sort of a pre-interview before their talk with Sifter with Chris Budden, which is it's an excellent review. Interview. I did watch that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know Budden did that.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I watched it after their talk, like after PAX, when I was like just like calming down on the Monday because I took the Monday off. That was one of the things I did. I loaded up Battlefield 6 because that launched that weekend and listened to that interview. But it's a good one. So yeah, I thought it was a great time. Met a bunch of cool people and got to see some people who I remember. A bunch of people who I missed this year. There's so many people who like I normally see who I didn't even glance them across a room at any point. We just got to the end of the week. I'm like, were they even there? And they were. It was so busy this year, and it was like, oh well, catch it. Just try next time. But it was a really good time. How did you find all of it, Jeremy? Having experienced much more of it.
Yeah, really good. Like the so I as a rundown of everything I did on the first Monday of Games Week. So I was meant to actually go to the opening night for Games Week on the Sunday, but I was too busy because I was helping on Monday FreeCon, and then Tuesday I went to GCAP. Wednesday more GCAP, although I made it in very late, and then the AGDAs, which the reason I went to GCAP and the AGDAs is because they were kind enough to offer me another year as a judge for the AGDAs, which is always a good time. Thursday, Freeplay Parallels. Friday, PAX. Saturday, PAX. Sunday, PAX. Friday, beer. Saturday, beer. Sunday, beer. And then I also had Monday off, but that's because I had a flight 6 a.m. on Tuesday to go to Sydney for South by Southwest, in which I did that from Tuesday onwards until Sunday, which included seeing a conversation between, a conversation moderated by Ruby Innes between Skill Up, Ralph, and Danny O'Dwyer, which was an excellent conversation.
I was tempted to like just buy tickets and come up like just for that, but
it was really good. They're both extremely intelligent. All three of them are all extremely intelligent people, and all very, very lovely. Kerry, you are so bright right now.
Oh, I am. What's up with that?
You were radiating.
I don't know why. Nothing changed.
Yeah, and then also I went to a keynote conversation between Steph Panacasio, I think is how you say her last name, and Brennan Lee Mulligan, which was also another tremendous conversation about like Brennan's life and career and attitude towards work. And if you don't know, Brennan Lee Mulligan is one of the lead guys for Dropout, is an improvising comedian who was also a tremendous dungeon master for a whole host of like D&D play shows, including Dimension 20 and now Critical Role as well. He was doing a live show in Melbourne a few days prior on the Monday night, I want to say, and then did another live show on Tuesday night, which in Sydney, which as a part of my South by ticket afforded me a free pass to it, so I got to see that as well, while drinking a tremendous amount of Pinot Grigio, which I cannot stress how tremendous it is to watch people like Brennan, Jordan Rasco, and Tom Cardy, and two other people who I was less familiar with, but were also extremely funny. Just do a really good like one-shot style D&D game while drinking a tremendous amount of white wine. It was just a really, really wonderful night. So
I wonder how their campaigns, because it was the same cast between the shows. I wonder how the shows played out differently between Monday and Tuesday.
It was two halves of a show, kind of. Or they
were concurrent, or consecutive.
Yeah. Like they carried on from it. It was the same characters, so they didn't have to do the whole like character like. It made the second show not have to retread the first, essentially.
Cool.
Yeah, it was very funny. It was very good. So, so it's 14 fucking days of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Have they announced all the dates and stuff? Do we know if it's going to be that next year?
As in, is it going to be immediately after?
Yeah, is it going to be back to back again?
I believe so. Okay. I'll talk about like where it sits in Games Week a little bit later when we get to the South by section, but I would be surprised if they moved back to a week in between.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with, someone like Brendan Lee Mulligan being able to do one show in Melbourne, one show in Sydney like that. Like it's kind of, that's the benefit of it. But yeah, we'll get there.
I don't know if PAX has announced the new dates.
No, they usually don't do it a little bit later.
I thought it was usually on the Sunday. They're like, book it in. See you October 6th next year or whatever the hell. No,
I think like they say like there will be another one, but like they usually do the dates a touch later.
Okay.
Because it's a whole marketing beat they can push, so they will use it without distracting it from itself.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I guess like to run through the first half of my week, like in just a touch more detail. Went to GCAP. I've got some thoughts on that, which I'm in the middle of writing, so like that'll go on the side at some point. The actors, I also have thoughts on. However, there is one thing I specifically wanted to shout out, which I will be writing about a little bit, but I want to shout it out here as well, is that the winner for the best debut game was Proximate by Kane Maddox. Kane,
great name.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like really, really cool looking game. It's a game that's been on my list to play for a very, very long time. But like I just haven't gotten around to it yet. It is such a cool looking game. Specifically Kane, when they got up and accepted their award, they went like they were, I think, either the first award or the second, but like very, very early. They immediately went up there and, was saying like just how bad it is at the moment as an industry, as a games industry. It is for the workers. There's no money. People are struggling. People don't know what to do. The funding isn't there, stuff like that. And then also like mentioning, protect trans rights, free Palestine, all that stuff. Just an all-timer really good moment for them to do that. I spoke to them very briefly later at PAX, and I was like, really great job. And they were like, I was so nervous, and I'm like, I get it, but seriously, really fucking good job. They were like a hero for doing that, and so I needed to specifically mention that about the actors. They also did a really beautiful tribute to the composer for Cult of the Lamb, who passed recently.
He passed away.
Whose name is Riverboy.
Riverboy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like an extremely sad thing to have happened in the industry, obviously, and for everyone who was like in the community of that game, and people that know of Massive Monster and are part of like the Monster Pals, I think is the name of their community group. And also Riverboy is like a First Nations composer as well. And so it was a tremendous tragedy, and there was a really lovely tribute to them. And then after that happened, Massive Monster actually won Studio of the Year. And when Julian from Massive Monster was accepting the award, it was just like, it was a really, really emotional way to end that show. But it was really good. It was like overall a very good tribute to Riverboy, and also like big congrats to Massive Monster for winning Studio of the Year. Like, I'm not going to go through a full rundown of all the award winners, but like it's worth mentioning that The Drifter won Game of the Year, which is The Drifter cleaned up with quite a few awards throughout the show, which is a really cool like point and click adventure game.
Made by the same person or people who made Crawl, I found out afterwards.
Right, yeah.
Which is an excellent game from many years ago.
And finally, the best gameplay winner, which is one that I do want to shout out just because it's a game I like quite a lot, was Mars First Logistics won best gameplay. And
sick.
I'm a big fan of that team, especially Ian's work, who I've mentioned on the show many times as being a big fan of his work, especially Jump Grid. I like a lot. I really like Mars First Logistics as well. So
this game's got multiplayer now, doesn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's got online co-op. Yeah.
It's really cool.
We should do that one night. We should just fuck around in that game. That'd be great.
It's a really cool game. That was the actors. I saw my name, saw my face up when all the judges got put on the screen. Jordan Rasko also hosted it with. I actually don't know who it is, but I think it was actually someone who was also in Axis of Awesome.
Oh, cool.
I think I'm not familiar enough with that band to know, but I believe so. And they made a joke when they were doing the like best music in games award, where Jordan was like, "You know how many chords it takes to write a song?" And the other the other guy goes, "No," and Jordan goes, "Me neither." Anyway.
That's so funny.
It was good. They were both a really good duo to host.
Was it Benny Davis or Lee Namo?
Lee Namo.
It was one of the other thirds of the Axis of Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah. It was a good show. New venue as well. It was at MCEC, as opposed to the Forum.
That would be much better.
The Forum's really cool.
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't do that for a function.
Look, it works as a function space, but like it was at the MCEC for a whole host of reasons, and it's fine. From there, Parallels, which you also went to. Do you have a highlight from Parallels?
Parallels, I really liked Shape Sender, I think it is. They had a great talk, and the show this year was tighter than last year.
Yes, it was. It was tighter than last year. It was good.
And they weren't celebrating like a big milestone like they were last year, but they had a big emphasis on keeping it tighter, which was good. So we weren't all exhausted by the time it finished.
Yeah. The hook, the fact that I forget the name of the person. One of the co-directors of Freeplay had the tremendous idea to make sure that everyone runs on time, and that is if you start to go over time, they walk up with a gigantic hook. Like a stage, like crook kind of thing. Yeah, like a vaudeville, pull them off the stage thing, and will slowly get closer and closer. And so the person who's on the stage doing the thing starts to wrap up their talk because they've clearly gone over time when they weren't meant to, because they've already practiced this and they went over time. One, very funny. Two, doesn't interrupt the talk so much as for it to be like taking away from the experience. Three, the host seeing a hook show up puts them into an overdrive mode. It is every single conference in the world going forward, whether it's GDC,
like Game Awards,
the UN, whatever.
Yeah.
They should have the Secretary General of the United Nations should have a big hook.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
And a cloak.
And a cloak, yes. Tremendous. Sorry, continue. Shapes Ender.
Yeah, so it was tighter and that was good. And yeah, there was a bunch of great games. The musical theater house game was really fun. But yeah, Shapesender I think was a highlight for me. There were other games that like weren't shown off in the presentation that were playable on the floor. Like there was one I played with our mate Ollie, which was sort of this like toy train levers and buttons, like, but like the train and the tracks was all like wooden, and all of the levers were like different colors, and you press a button, all the blue levers move, and you press another button, all the orange levers move, and it was about getting them all around. And it was like really hard. It was really difficult. And it was so funny because it had this whimsical artistic art style, and then it was tough as nails. I only beat it one time because it glitched out.
Oh, right.
But yeah, no, it was a really nice time, and it was cool to see everyone. Like I don't know, there's something about that where everyone's happy to be there at that event. Like it's probably the event that feels the most sort of communal, as in like here is the game's community, rather than like throwing us all into the convention center and like rattling us around a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like we're not
we just get like tossed around inside like a salad tosser.
Yeah. The co-director who had the hook, their name is Mads McKenzie.
Yes.
Yeah, they're very cool. The hook is extremely good. One of the highlights for me for Parallels was a game called Noibs.
Noibs, yeah. What was that one again?
Noibs was the one that it is the spore creature creator.
Oh yeah.
And then it turns into like professional wrestling auto battling.
That's right.
It is.
That's right.
So funny. It is so silly.
It's really cool seeing the Spore character creator in like another setting now, but with like no limitations.
Yes, exactly. You need to stop with that zip thing.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. It's just you're doing it right into the mic. I will talk more about Noibs later because I actually got hands on it at South by, which was very fun. But like as far as that talk at Parallels was so enjoyable. They were all really good though. Like it was a really, really strong Parallels Freeplay Parallels. Yeah. And especially because like last year it was exciting because they were at 10 years. But they had like tightened all of the little bits around the edges that made it just a much better experience this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was PAX.
Then it was PAX. For 3 days.
For 3 whole days.
Mm-hmm. It was. What you going?
No.
I don't know. It was interesting this year because it wasn't. It was hard to put my finger on what exactly was different than last year. For example, like I think from a like a macro zoomed out sort of logical perspective, it all looks quite similar.
Yeah.
To how it ran last year. But in terms of how it felt being on the floor and experiencing the show, it felt much better. I think the way they, like I mentioned before, the way they organized the show floor so that all of the noise making elements of the like more commercial booths and the esports stuff was further away from the indie stuff. So you weren't assaulted just by sound the entire time when you were in there after a certain point of the day. Like you could walk to the indie side of the area and it would calm down a bit, which then gave you the headspace to like pay attention to what was happening in front of you. Like the last couple of years, it's been an assault. Like you get to Saturday afternoon and they're all screaming and they're all doing the giveaways and they're all blasting music louder than the other person. And it's just unconscionably loud. And they handled it so much better this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like the vibes were good. even although there was an evacuation in the middle of the Saturday, like that added to the vibes in a way, because there were so many photos of just the entirety of the convention center had been dumped out onto the lawn, and there was Spider-Man cosplayers dancing together, and that it was just this one video I remember Brad from Next Play posted on Instagram of the Spider-Man on this boy dancing together and like fixing each other's suits, and Brad pulls the camera down, and there's other cosplayers like watching, including a character from Peak, like a Peak climber, and they had this big like colorful helmet for and they were standing there in the Peak pose with their hands on their hips, looking up at the Spider-Man, like acting like the Peak character. It was so cool, and like that only lasted an hour, and no one was hurt. It was a gaff. And didn't really seem to hurt the attendance that much either, because when we went in there like an hour later, it was pumping still. So, yeah, I don't know. There was something about this PAX that just went really well. It felt really good. Also, I haven't heard of that many people like getting sick afterwards, like last year. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like last year was a lot of like, oh yeah, it's really going around this time. But like,
that was a fair bit post PAX.
This year,
yeah, it was. I think it was primarily like influenza. Because that's been going around a fair bit. So,
okay.
Yeah, but like, yeah, totally. I kind of almost completely agree. Like we were lucky enough to we were getting a beer and lunch while the evacuation happened, and so we got to skip it, and people streaming out. Yeah, and so the moment I saw that PAX was evacuated, I ran to the bar and got another beer. And
before the place filled out.
And I went over to the bartender and I was like, I don't want to make your life terrible, but everyone's evacuating from there, so you might get really busy in a minute. And she's like, yeah, I just heard. I hope we're going to be all right. I'm like, me too. Anyway, thank you for the pint.
Yeah, it was pretty chill.
It was fine. It didn't seem to really affect much outside. But yeah, no, totally. Like, I think that there was a couple of things. I'm 90% sure that in the past PAX, some of the booths at PAX had breached noise levels. And so they reined it in this year by a lot of the booths that had very, very like speakers and like commentary and like competitions and casting and giveaways. They were sort of positioned to not be in the like main channel corridor in the center. They were faced towards the wall.
Yeah,
I do
and a
wonder,
lot of they were placed next to other booths that had big walls, like the Nintendo booth. So they were sort of naturally like sectioned off in that way.
I do wonder, and like not all of them were, but like primarily they had like arranged them, so most of them were. But I do wonder if that affected their like competition attendance. Like I do wonder if they might complain. I don't know. I really don't know. However, the answer could just be like, well, you kept on breaching noise levels, which you would like. I think that was the case. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 90% sure that was happening at least once.
I wouldn't be surprised based on our subjective experience.
It was too loud. They were far too loud in previous years.
And like next to each other or like not that far away from each other, so like actively competing with each other.
And it was also like the other thing is like it became a bottleneck for people that were trying to not be a part of it, and they were then stuck and they had to be corralled through the crowd as the like giveaway crowd would exceed the level that they were meant to, because there were just so many people that then it just became a terrible experience for a lot of people because they were trying to get away from the noise, and it got slow because of the amount of traffic that was going through. But you're right. The everything else about the show as well was like had a really good vibe. There was a really exciting energy around the PAX Rising area. Nintendo having a handful of pre-release games was really cool. And like they're high profile ones as well, like Metroid, Pokemon, and Kirby Air Riders. Pokemon is now out, but like at the time, none of those games were out, and that was really cool. Even though they only had like 6 or 8 Metroids. Like
I think 4. I think they only had 4.
Was it only 4?
demos for Metroid. Yeah, it was just the 4 on that one desk.
I thought, all right, good lord, okay.
Yeah, it was bad.
There's not many. And they had some Mario Kart World stuff happening on the big screen, which
and they had like Elden Ring there, and
that's right.
Maybe Final Fantasy was there. Something. Silk Song was there on the Switch, so they had some smaller stuff there too.
Yeah,
Hades.
Yeah, and like Ninja Gaiden was there with Xbox, but like for the most part, those were the games that were there that were like big tentpole games.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past, we have both commented the fact that like how like it's important for some of the big players to be there because it will bring the crowd, it will bring the general audience member to PAX, and then while they're there, they will then also experience the PAX Rising area. They'll go and play the indies. They'll go and play, some of the board games. They'll go and play like
exactly.
XYZ. And so it's really useful to have the big players there because they can then like lift, rising tide, lift all ships sort of thing.
Totally. And it adds to the spectacle and sort of the event feeling of the weekend.
Totally. And it's funny because we were also commenting ahead of time that like that it's mostly Nintendo for this year, and that there were not there was not a PlayStation booth. Xbox's presence was very small. There was no Ubisoft presence. There was no EA. There was no Steam. Was not here again like they were last year when they announced the Steam Deck would be sold in Australia. It was a smaller presence from the big players. But we were also commenting ahead of time that like there's not enough games coming out soon enough that we actually don't know what would be there. It was just that point in the calendar for releases. And I think partly because a lot of people were moving out of the way for a potential GTA 6 to drop at this point in the year. And then there's become the vacuum, which we had spoken about previously about how there was like a day, like a month ago, where every indie game for some reason announced that they were releasing later in the year on one day because it was X amount of days away from Grand Theft Auto. And so...
And also Silk Song.
And also Silk Song. So yeah, it was a funny thing. But it didn't matter. Like, I didn't feel that the AAA presence was smaller than I felt like it needed to be. It's really funny.
It was also like, because I'm thinking about it, and it's like they had, there wasn't a Ubisoft booth, there wasn't an EA booth. But thinking about it, there was a Sims booth. There was a Just Dance stage, which I'm realizing was Just Dance 2026 ahead of launch, or around launch. So like that's cool for the people who care about that. There are still people who do. That stage was happening all weekend. Every time I was there, it was never empty. And so like I kind of like that they didn't just bow out completely. They focused on like supporting the communities who would be there to support them. And then those communities could come forward and do that and be excited that they were there. And so instead of say last year with Ubisoft when they delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows into this year, and then all of a sudden it wasn't going to be there anymore. Remember there was that preview event that got cancelled in the October, and it was going to be playable on PAX, and then they canned it, and then all it was like Star Wars Outlaws that had been out for a month, and like I don't even know what else they had. It was something. It was other stuff that it had been out for a while and wasn't particularly eventful. I remember the Ubisoft booth was very strange last year. So I think like it. I'm glad they didn't try to force it.
Yeah, totally. And I also don't even know what they would force it with. Like we haven't seen what it means as of yet, but the future of that company was resting on Shadows. And
they've done that split recently with Tencent. The group that does their development now is like half Tencent, half Ubisoft, whatever they've got. Like it's a very confusing corporate structure over there now. They've done this weird split, but
we still don't know how much of the future of the Guillemets are going to. Anyway, that's a whole different can of worms. and yeah, like also the Dragon Age was the thing that was kind of maybe going to be there last year and then definitely wasn't, or something. It was like the really bizarre thing where there was like, oh, like EA's going to be there, and then suddenly, like, what is it? Oh, it's like a standee outside, and we were like, what? And then Dragon Age was coming out in like a week or something, and it was like, really couldn't anyway. Yeah, bizarre.
So yeah, this year's better.
This year was much better. There was also just like, there was so many really, really fucking good indie games in the PAX Rising area. Many bangers.
It was astounding, like the density of high quality experiences on offer. And I don't want anyone who's been there in previous years to think that, you know, this is a knock against them. It's just that for whatever reason, the concentration of indies that were showcased this year was so high. And there were so many different audiences served. And there is every year a whole different audiences served. You know, there's visual novels that don't speak to me as much, but are busy every time I walk past. And that was the same this year. But there were so many high quality experiences. I walked away going, I had never heard about this game. And looking at this now, I am immediately very interested in the future of this game, and excited to hear when it's coming out, because it was so fun. Like, yeah, I don't know. How much do you want to go over the games in this? Because I think like I'm going to do a bit of an indie write-up, and you've got some written pieces coming forward too about your couple of weeks. But did you want to talk about the games in this? Yeah,
like I do, because like there are some games that like I have not done interviews for, and like I would like to at some point soon, but like I don't know what my future will be until I finish all the stuff that I have to do first. So like there are some games I would like to specifically talk about, which I did play. One of them was Key Fairy, which was a game that was actually at Parallels. Key Fairy is a bullet hell. It is a pacifist bullet hell, is how they described it. It is a bullet hell in which you are not actually on the offensive. It is a really, really cool, like mostly like it's the three colors. It's black and white and red.
It's mostly hand animated, right?
Yes, it is. And it is this like the structure of the world is all very like they were talking about this in their talk at Parallels, but they were saying it is all about whimsy and the idea of being in a like joyful kind of fun exciting world, and the villain of the world is very like serious, and the idea of like you are the one that is actually bringing whimsy back to this fantastical world. It is an extremely cool looking game, and then playing it, and while also having headphones on, listening to the music, I was like, oh, this is like the whole package. This is like, this is all these aspects coming together in this like really, really cohesive experience. I was talking to one of the developers of it while I was at PAX, and while I was talking to them also, so was Chad Toporek, who is one of the previous directors of Freeplay Parallels and had been for quite a while. And we were both saying almost the exact same thing at the exact same time about like, yes, like the tone and the vibe, it all works so well. Like it really, really is so consistent and so like there's a really clear direction with it, which is really exciting. And also the gameplay is very good. It is a very, very good gameplay. So I'm really looking forward to that one coming out and playing more of it, because it's the banger. What about you?
I had a few here. I'll just shout out one that I know you've got an interview for coming in the future, who you spoke to at South by Southwest. But Tingus Goose, I've got their little sticker sheet QR code that they presented, where you can like create your own goose creature. It's on the face of it, it's an idle game, but it feels like so much more than that, because it's this animation experience where you're being presented completely absurd, borderline disgusting, confronting images that are actually quite cute and funny and surprising. It was constantly surprising. and it's just an idle game. It's about like, you know, getting more money to whatever. But instead of like to like buy more cookie clicker factories or whatever, it's to make the goose's head that's growing out of the human belly longer to kiss the giant goose in the sky. And you do that by making more things grow off its sides and like appendages. And it's like, whoa, I'm so excited to play that game. It's out really soon on PC.
Yeah, like, and there's now 2 demos out for it, or at least a newer demo out for it as well. We can play. Which I did play it, and I have spoken to the lead and CEO of the company. It's a really fun interview. That'll be up soon.
Yeah, great. Yeah, he seemed like a cool guy.
Yeah.
Another one that I was really enjoying was Toya, which was presented as a prototype student project at the AIE booth last year, and this year had its own dedicated booth. They're aiming to release sometime around PAX next year, but it looked so much more, just more in every way, really. It's gone from being a prototype to being a full product now, and it's got a runtime of X number of hours, and they had to rebuild the game in a different engine and make it all look better and different, and how does it progress and all that stuff. So it was really cool seeing that game again this year, and I'm really excited to see what it looks like in another few months. I think I'll hit them up for an interview ahead of release next year, I think. Houdini is this game that I didn't expect. This is their business card. It's this dungeon crawling, sort of like a color matching, almost like Ikaruga, where you change the color of your character, and then if you match the color of like the obstacles or the enemies as you touch them, then you absorb them. It's not as intense as Ikaruga, but it's a bit slower, but there's 3 colors, and so you press the different buttons to change the colors, and then as you clear each room you get a new ability. So it's got these roguelike elements, and then it's like absorbing a red creature sets nearby enemies on fire. If you absorb a blue creature that's on fire, then all other enemies in this radius will be deleted immediately. And they had all these elemental effects, and all of a sudden, you know, I sat down with it. I'm like, it looks beautiful. And I sat down and I was playing it, and I was like, oh, it's really, I think I'm going to get really overwhelmed with this. How am I going to remember which colors are on which buttons? I don't know. I don't know. And really, really, really quickly, I just got into the zone. Just in my first time playing it, in the first 10 minutes, and I was just in. It was like playing Vampire Survivors, or even like, not quite Tetris Effect levels, but you know what I mean? Like it hooked me into the flow of the game so fast and so effortlessly. And I was really impressed. Like I sort of came to 7 or 8 minutes in as the challenge came up, and I was like, oh, I've just been having a good time. I just completely like zoned out and was just enjoying the moment. Made by principally one person. Who, when they got their grant, they then went and got music for the game, because that's like they said that's the thing I can't do, but you know, I could do the art, I could do the code, but I can't do the music. So that's as soon as they got funding, that's immediately where that went. It's a gorgeous game. I think the gameplay is a great hook, and I really liked it. So that was Houdini. Vanguard Exiles, I need to spend a bit more time thinking about, which is how I feel every time I see this game. Or think about this game, because it's so complex. When I was talking to the developer about it, they were like, you know, there are so many different ways this can go. There's a chance, but every time you finish a level, it shows you for your strategy what the percentage chance of your success was. And the way it does that is when you press at the end of a round, when you press the statistic button, it looks at your hand and your enemy's hand for like where you're going to place these units in this map, and how that plays out, and it simulates how those hands could have potentially all the different variations of where those units could be placed, and then runs them multiple times to tell you the statistical chance that each strategy would or would not succeed, because there are chance elements in there, even regardless, because the same strategy can have different outcomes, basically. And it finds out for you the likelihood of those outcomes happening or not happening as soon as you press that statistics button. That's when it calculates all of that in like a second. And then it presents you these bar graphs, and it's like, holy crap. And then they've got like 150 unique units, and all. It seems like a nightmare to balance, but it was a very technically impressive game. And it's got a demo right now, and I really need to go have a look at it. Or rather, no, it doesn't have a demo right now. It's in early access. it was very, very impressive for people who kind of like auto battlers or like sort of tower defense, like sort of grid-based tower defense, sort of place your units and see how everything goes. This is up your alley, mixed in with like sort of deck building in a way. And then the last one I wanted to point out is Canvas City, which was at the NZ Code booth, which, by the way, for like the third year in a row, has done an excellent job of standing out in the crowd full of indies.
Yeah.
The NZ Code booth is excellent every time. Apparently, they've just got a whole bunch of new funding from the NZ government, so they're going to have like they're going to be making a lot of moves this year. Apparently,
cool.
So that's cool. But yeah, Canvas City was really cool. It's basically Jet Set Radio if it was an XCOM strategy game, where they simulate the sort of the flow of riding on skates and street art and stuff like that. The more you can like tag things or like grind on rails or go up ramps and stuff like that increases your unit's like movement speed and like action ability. So the more like stylistic you are in like a Jet Set Radio way, the more moves and actions you can have in the XCOM strategy layer of the game. So it's really neatly tied together. It's even got like score multipliers. It's like, oh, you can if you do enough moves in a given like turn, then you get a higher score. So then it has a score chasing element for the missions. You can go back and try and get a higher score, just like a Tony Hawk game or Jet Set. And it didn't even occur to me that they would be able to translate that into a turn-based strategy combat. It's like these like street kids like spraying each other with paint kind of a thing, but it's combat. It didn't occur to me that they'd be able to pull that part of that score-based score chasing genre into the tactics genre as well. So it comes together really well. I think they're going to spend a bit more time with it, but like the colors and the design is really good. The effects are really good. I didn't play a whole round just because it was a tactics game. It was taking a while. It was like, okay, I've got the vibe. I'm going to step away, let someone else play, but I can't wait to play more.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that I was really bummed that I didn't get a chance to play, because I remember watching the trailer for that ahead of time and I was like, I really need to get a chance to play this, and just the weekend got away from me.
I'm pretty sure it's got a demo.
Yeah, nice, cool. Yeah, like the only other ones I've got here, which I am not immediately doing more coverage on, is Jupiter Junkworks, which is
that was great too. Yeah,
very cool. It is a Tetris-like. I guess like it is a Tetris, but there is more than just the standard tetronomers. There are different pieces, but it's also got like a little bit more of an element to it that is a bit more like abilities, and you've got like a character on like the left hand side of the screen, which very, very much reminds me of like those arcadey type games that we used to see a bunch, where there'd be a character that's like, sort of being your like de facto avatar for like the person that's controlling the actual arcade style game in the center. And they had
it reminded me of Advance Wars in a similar way, where it's like, oh, I'm playing as this character controlling the army.
Totally. Yeah. It's really cool. They had a custom controller there as well, which made me terrible at the game when I'm usually actually pretty good at Tetris, which was funny. But yeah, like it's got a really cool vibe. Like it's like as the name suggests, Jupiter Junkworks is all very like, it's like rebuilt technology from trash, and like it's all very like hand put together, like a Star Wars, or like honestly, what it reminded me a lot of was the animated film Robots. Like it's got that kind of
it's a lot of scrap.
Yeah, it's all scrap metal built into various machinery. It's very cool.
It also had a
cool music.
Yes, I was just about to say it had a killer soundtrack.
Yeah, which you need for a game like that. Like you need the soundtrack to like really pop along. And finally one of the other games that I played was a game called Obliterator X, which was a top-down. You okay?
Sorry, I've just remembered one more game to shout out. So say your one and yeah.
Obliterator X. It's a like top-down tower defense roguelike. With like so it's like you're going around sort of like twin stick shooter vibes, but like you're also collecting resources along the way, and you're going through levels as like a clone of yourself, I believe is the plot. But as you're doing it, you're like doing sort of like on the fly tower defense building, because a lot of the main combat encounters are like enemies attacking you, and you either like, you know, like maybe like hacking a door, or like, you know, there's a machinery that's doing a thing and it takes X amount of time, and so you got to build up your defenses because the waves of enemies are quite overwhelming, and then they eventually you have to make sure that you've got enough defenses to actually not be fully overwhelmed by all the enemies that are showing up. It's really, really fun. One of the really cool things about it was that not only are you building towers that are stationary, you're also like managing like drones that are following you around, and you can command them to do certain things, and you can command certain drones to do certain things. So you might want like two on defense, one as like an aggressor, so one that might be like building objects, while you've got two that are like shooting the enemies, and then you've got one that's actually just a scout running around just pulling resources back and forth, similar to sort of like an RTS sort of vibe. And you can sort of command them to change doing what they're doing on the fly mid-combat, because you might be suddenly like, oh my god, there's too many enemies around. I need them all to come back really quick just so I can re-get a little bit of like bandwidth here.
Sounds hectic.
It's really fun. It was really, really fun. I had a really good time playing it. I'm really, really quietly keen to actually just sit and play it, because it seems like a really easy game to just like, I'm just gonna play for an hour and just be very cool with that.
Yeah.
And
just like lose your afternoon.
Yeah. It was really fun. What was your other one?
I don't even remember seeing this. This looks great. Speaking of roguelike strategy games with beautiful colors and presentation, enter the Chronosphere. I didn't get their business card, so I forgot to mention it. But this game was one that it was not on my. That's how I was making my shortlist just now to remember. I was like, oh yeah, these guys. This was such a surprise to me. I hadn't heard of this game ahead of the show, like most of the games there, but it is so far up my alley. It's ridiculous. Like for starters, it is one of the most gorgeous games on the show floor this year, I think. An incredibly vibrant, psychedelic like art style that really pops. But it doesn't really sacrifice readability of the game at all. So everything's very colorful and vibrant whilst being very strategic. People are sort of comparing it to Super Hot, where it's like, you know, time passes when you move, people move when you move. You and I were more comparing it to Arco, where it's like if you take it a bit slower, then the game moves like much more slowly. But it kind of doesn't have the limitation of Arco, where it's like, okay, plan your move, do this, plan your that, now hit go. Like you can hold the movement button, and it's like you just step forward, step, turn as fast as you want. So you can really rush through it if you want, or then you can just stop, take a moment, go, okay, I need to dodge this bullet that's coming. Like you can play as fast or slow as you want, which I think is really good. All of the weapons were really inventive and creative and engaging. They had all these modifiers you could apply to them, all these different active items you could use, and sort of you could. They had so much stuff. I only played it for 10 minutes, and it was so robust. And I was just playing with one character on one planet, and I don't know. I was looking at this, and I'm like, this is so comprehensive, and it's gorgeous. I just loved looking at it.
I remember, like, I went over to the booth because I was like, we watched the trailer ahead of time, but I was like, oh, I really, really need to get a chance to play it, which is annoying because I didn't actually get a chance to play it just because the booth was always in use.
Yeah.
And I ended up just talking to one of the developers for what felt like 45 minutes, and we were just chatting about so many random things. It was really good. But, like, God, the art in that game is so killer. Like, not only has it got a really unique, like, alien world vibe to it. It reminds me a lot of there was a comic that was kind of coming out called Non-Player, and anyone that is anyone that is like into comics, especially like dark, I think it was Image Comics, will be upset that I bring up non-player because it's the thing that everyone really wanted to happen, and it was like this is a complete non sequitur, but non-player was a comic where issue 1 came out by a guy who always wanted to make a comic like that, and then it did so well that they reprinted non-player issue 1 like 4 or 5 times, and a first printing version of that comic goes for quite a lot of money, and then like he brought out issue 2 like 2 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like a single issue comic. This is not a trade. This is not an omnibus. This is a single issue comic.
So what is that, like 20 pages or 30 pages or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone was clamoring for non-player number 2. And then non-player 3 never came out.
Yeah, right. That's so funny.
And the guy's not a comic creator full time, and I think just doesn't actually desire to be full time, but was always like, oh, I'm finally got some time to do it. He's got a full time gig, blah blah blah. But the art in non-player is fucking incredible. I have never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it since. No one has made anything like non-player. This isn't quite like that, but it's evoking a similar sense of this like shaped alien world that is really, really exciting to be in.
It's very vibrant.
It is very, very bright, vibrant. And one of the other like really important things of the environment is that because it's a turn-based game, the world freezes when you're not moving. And when you're not moving, you're planning. But then when you are moving, when you're making a move and actions are occurring, the whole world is animating. There are objects off the playing space. There's what is essentially a gear or like a clock below the world that is slowly rotating when time is moving, and when it's not, it's not. And it feels so alive the moment you are making those moves in those game in that game. It's like, oh, just juice in that game.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like the game feel is cranked.
Yeah.
It's so strong.
Yeah.
From the art to the sound to the feedback of the controller and the screen shake, it's really strong.
Totally. Yeah, it's so good. Anything?
Yeah, that was PAX.
That was PAX. Any further final thoughts? 85,000 people went. That's kind of crazy, yo.
That's this is, and that's what I mean. Like, this is the most like pre-COVID form of PAX that it's been.
Yeah.
Since COVID. Like it's been on the upswing ever since, and I feel like this year we got back there.
I did the math,
which was very enjoyable.
That's at least 28,000 people per day, but it's not that because people went multiple days. But it's attendance, not like people per day. It wasn't 85,000.
Oh, so this is individual people that attended.
Yeah, that's attendance. And so it would have been like, maybe on Saturday might have been like 50,000 people potentially.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts, isn't it?
It was working. It was really like everything there was working as intended.
Yeah, good job, PAX.
Yeah. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll come back. I'll talk about South by, just for a bit. Anyway, we'll see you soon. Welcome back. Kerry's got the giggles, which is why he's doing a like lemmings face. We're back. We're still talking about Games Week. Kind of. Games Weeks.
Yeah.
Games Week. The idea of Melbourne International Games Week has now like actually left my brain, because it is just now only a 2-week thing that feels like 3 weeks and then is over when it feels like it's only been 2 days. Like, I really can't believe how quick it went, honestly. Like, I was thinking about this on the last day of South by when I was gonna fly back the next day, and I was like, oh fuck, I really wish I could do more of it.
Yeah, it's so funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's great because this space is so siloed a lot of the time, especially in Australia. It's so hard to break out of being stuck online and that being the only way to sort of have gatherings like this. Like, I heard from multiple people and I agreed with them and concurred that like, there are so many of us in each of these cities in Australia, and we don't catch up during the year. Like, we should be doing catch-ups every 1 to 2 to 3 to 6 months or something. We should be catching up more than once a year for sure, because it's so, like, we all get so much out of it. It's a shot in the arm for our productivity and what we want to be doing, and a way to re-energize a lot of it. Like, I saw a post from Huso at Player 2 saying, like, you know, it's been hard this year and I've been looking for reasons to do that, and PAX was that reason, and it's sort of reinvigorated him, and that was so nice to see. And, you know, kudos to him for sharing that sort of vulnerability. But like we've been talking about in this episode already, like, it's been a hard year for this stuff. You know, it's hard to give your bandwidth to your passions when, like, you just want to clock off because the world's awful, or because there's been more layoffs at Microsoft, or, you know, like, it's hard to keep fronting up. And so to have these moments where it celebrates everything that there's to do. There's so much to be done. There's so much to enjoy. There's so many people to meet and laughs to be had, and to share in that experience with everyone. It's really special.
Yeah, and like, I remember I was talking to some people about it, about how, like, oh, you know, what have you been up to the past few days, past week, past 2 weeks, you know, what have you been around doing? And like, anytime anyone like asked me that question, like, you know, like, I was, you know, talking to developers and either setting up or doing interviews, of course, but like, every single time, like, my brain would always default to, like, yeah, just like talking to people, just like catching up with people that I haven't seen in ages. And
like, that's what you've been doing.
Yeah, I've been seeing people that I like to talk to, and like, new and old. It's like, oh, just being around people that are doing the same thing that I'm doing or not. But regardless, they're doing it because they like it as much as I like doing what I do. And that's like just sort of it. Like, that's the whole point of it. Like, so much so that, like, you know, like, like you and I have spoken in the past about how like sometimes when it gets to stuff like PAX, we like either will take on too many things to do, and then we don't feel like we get to do everything that we wanted to do, or we don't get to do like some of the things that we wanted to do as well as we would have wanted to, because we were doing like maybe like more things than one person or two people could do running around the show. And so I remember thinking about like, oh, like, did I do that again this year? And I was like, actually, I don't think I did, because one, I was focused on actually just talking to people that I wanted to speak to, or people that I'd never spoken to before. And two, I also said to so many people, yeah, let's chat in a week. Let's talk in 15 days.
Yeah.
Let's set up an interview in a month when we're not here and it's loud and tiring and I'm hungover and you're hungover. Like, it's like, let's just not do that right now, because it's too much. And then I got to speak to a billion amazing people.
I almost lost my voice after Parallels on Thursday night. So I rock up to PAX on Friday, and I speak to you when I get to the convention center. And it's the first time I've spoken to anyone all day. And I'm like, hi, how's it going? I'm like, oh no. And you can, it wasn't quite that bad. I'm trying to replicate it, but I haven't quite got it. But we put up a Metroid preview that we did that day after we were at the Nintendo booth. We recorded it that day, and you can hear my voice is shot. Yeah. And it was like that all weekend.
The the absolute fear that I had when I was like running around Freecon doing a bunch of stuff and then stayed out really late that night, and I woke up on Tuesday and my voice was like raspy and could not be loud, like unable to be loud. And I was like, oh God, I fucked it on day one.
Day one, yeah.
I lost my voice, I think, about 3 or 4 times over the whole 2 weeks. Like, I lost it once or twice in Sydney. I lost it once after PAX. I lost it once earlier in the week of Games Week. Like, it just kept on disappearing and coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. You kept finding it. That's good.
Yeah, thank God I did, because otherwise I couldn't do a whole lot of what I was trying to do. Speaking of South by Southwest, I flew up on the Tuesday morning, and I stayed there until Monday morning.
Yeah.
It was a long ass time. It's funny, like, so I went up, thankfully. I was not sure if I was going up until very late once again. The way that the way that you find out if you're getting a media pass or not is different every year. And so this year I went up on behalf of Minimap and also Checkpoint Joy FM, because that way, that's if I can't get an approval as a part of 2 outlets, then I don't know who gets to go. So I spent a lot of the time over the week in Sydney in the ICC, the International Convention Centre. That's because this year, as I mentioned last week, the South by Southwest Games Festival is being held at the same place as the tech area, same places where South by Southwest sort of lives, which is in the ICC. This is different to the past 2 years because 2 years ago they were in like sort of these smaller like meeting style rooms, and then the year after, last year, it was at a tech uni in just near Ultimo or near Broadway in Sydney, which is, it's not too far from the ICC. It's about a 20-minute walk, but you don't really want to be going back and forth for 20 minutes, and it's also quite a steep walk as well, which is an important thing that I bring up. Last year, all the game stuff was happening across the road from where Fortress Sydney is, and a lot of the night events in South by Southwest Sydney last year were held at Fortress Sydney. So that kind of worked. The downside was that it was so far away from the tech area that there was no real crossover from anyone who had a tech badge who just wanted to wander in the game, see what it was, had a platinum badge, wanted to wander around, see what was going on. It also meant that if you were a VR game, for the most part, the VR and AR stuff was relegated to the tech area, which last year was at the ICC. And so there were VR developers that were at the tech area and couldn't really mingle with the games area.
Right.
A key difference, for those who don't know, between South by Southwest and PAX is that it is traditionally a much more industry event. It is mostly other game developers, talking about the Games Festival, it's mostly other game developers, it's mostly games press, it is mostly investors, it is mostly people who are into games in a professional setting. There are very few, if any, people walking around South by Southwest who are not part of the industry in some form. And that's the same for like screen to an extent, and music to an extent. Like those get a little bit blurrier because they also have concerts which you can go to, and also like there's independent films that are running and stuff. So like it's a good way to see films that are only doing like those festival circuits if you're a film nerd. The other really important thing about South by Southwest that's different to PAX is that historically what they've done is they've actually had rotating like rosters for the games that are showing in the Games Festival.
That's right. It's like shifts, isn't it? It's like your game is on at this table for this amount of time, half of this day.
Yeah, like it used to be like, oh yeah, you would be there like 10 till like it was like 10 till 2 on Friday, and then the afternoon shift on Saturday, and then 10 till 2 on the Thursday and stuff like that. which was really useful because it also meant that like not only was there a 1 hour window in between those two shifts, that meant that everybody actually left the room and just like went away. That was great because then I was like, fuck it, hell yeah, I'm getting lunch, I'm going to get a coffee, I'm drinking water, I'm sitting down, I'm going back to my hotel room. Everyone was do that, but it was also like a really good idea because then it was like, hey, like I was on in the morning, you saw my thing, I'm not on anymore. Do you want to go chat? Do you want to go make a deal? Do you want to go do an interview? Whatever. Not only is the idea of having set breaks really, really useful in between like morning and afternoon shifts for the two different shifts of developers that are showing off their games as part of the Games Festival. It also like it also gave the developers a break to in between that stuff. It also meant that because they didn't have developers on all the time over like 4 or 5 days of a festival, that they could go and experience the rest of the show. And it also meant that I didn't have to be overwhelmed all the time because you could have it in a smaller space. And so I can sort of do a lap and see everything in a minute. And then I can then hone in on one I want to talk about. And then I can look at the schedule and be like, all right, these games are going to be in tomorrow. I haven't seen these ones. I can then find them really easily. What they did this year that is different, which I kind of get why they did it, but I just personally don't like it as much as they don't do the half day shifts anymore. It's now whole day shifts.
So they're there on Thursday, just flat.
Yeah.
Or they're there on Friday, just
Yeah. And like they're on Thursday and Saturday, and they're on Friday and Wednesday. Like they're on more than one, or like there were people that I spoke to that were on like every day. And like I missed the break, I missed the changeover. I think I know why they didn't do that, and it's also because that room was also used as like a room for panels and stuff.
Oh.
And so there was panels happening in the same room, like not too overwhelming really. Like it was a little bit louder, you had to talk over it, but it was not overwhelmingly loud that you couldn't. But it did mean that room was in use the whole day.
I remember hearing a bit as well that it was a bit awkward for developers to have to like pack up and pack down and pack up and pack down.
Probably, yeah. Like I'm sure it probably would have. It also meant that they were able to like decorate their booths in permanently. But if they were doing only 1 day on, 1 day off, then they were still packing up and packing down just at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, just a bit less. Yeah, you can give it the whole day before doing the whole rigmarole. Yeah,
yeah. The downside is that, as far as I could tell, there was no way to find out which games were on which days, unlike previous years, and I don't know why. There was like the schedule app. Because every year there's a new app and it's from the ground up redesigned and not fully as complete as the previous one, but had better features, but lost some.
That stinks.
Yeah, wild. Stop doing that, South by Southwest. Fucking goddamn it.
Pick a lane. Pick an app.
Give me a spreadsheet. Like, I don't care, but let me know when the games are there so I can find out when I need to play the games that I want to play. Anyway, look, overall, it is better that that was in the ICC. I went to the tech area very briefly because I apparently like horrors, and it was only mostly full of horrors. Like mostly like AI rubbish. A lot of robots. I got to see those robots that we've been seeing on the internet. A bunch of them running around like doing stupid shit. Like those tiny little fucking, and I'm like, oh my god, I want to like kick it like real bad. But they were fenced off. I could not go near these fucking things. Meanwhile, on the big fucking tech stage, they're talking about Matilda, the Australian data AI like large, and I'm sitting there going like, and then like over on the other thing, there was like a booth that was like I was talking to like this like First Nation startup about this guy who's making his own like platform to connect brands and like UGC content creators, but specifically ones that are like living on country, like sort of far away from the big cities and who are First Nations people. And I'm like, that seems like a really good idea. And I was like, that's really cool. And we chatted for a while and that was a really good conversation. And I went to the next booth, which was another First Nations person who then told me about like his like blockchain technology that was going to be able to read all of your medical data and tell you if you've got certain diseases. I'm sitting there going like, fucking hell, the horrors are everywhere. And I'm like, I was trying to get away from as many tech bro people as possible, and I was still finding them. They were fucking everywhere. And also, then every now and again, I spoke to a man who was in sort of the corner of the tech area. By the way, the corner was like one further smaller than last year. Again, it is only getting smaller each year. I spoke to this gentleman who was in the corner, and he had this little table, and on the table was like a like lantern type thing, and he had a display on the wall, which was a like 3D rendered portrait, which had also a table with a lamp on it. And I was like,
when you walked up, did he say like, "Hello, traveler"?
No, but I walked in, I was like, "Hey," like I did my like confident thing. I'm like, "Hi, what's this?" And he was like, "Hi, pick this up and take it to the wall." And I did. And there was a camera on the wall, and it was tracking the motion of the thing, and it was replicating me bringing the light closer and further away to the thing, and it was illuminating the scene it was very cool. It worked as intended. It was pretty real time. It was quite impressive. And I went, "Oh, this is
cool
really
for an art installation or something."
It was really cool. And then I put it back down on the table, and I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "What'd you do it?" And it was like, "Oh, it's like a ray traced in Unreal 5 sort of thing." I'm like, "Yeah, right, cool." And then I was like, I think I said to him in this exact words, which was maybe too much for like Thursday morning at like 9 a.m. I think I said to him, "What the hell are you doing here?" And he said, "I don't really know." like not quite that, but he was like, "Yeah, look, there was some money for some art stuff that I was making, and the money was there, and so then they put me as a part of the tech expo for South by Southwest, because it's a piece of tech as like a little art installation in the middle of the tech expo." And I'm like, yeah,
I mean,
right.
Where else would you put it, right?
Well, I don't know, but like not a single person in Tech Expo gives a shit about art installations, because like I was the only person who went in there and out of there that I saw. And so I'm sitting here going like, this is cool. You know who would actually appreciate this more? It's probably the games people, like a little bit down the hall.
The people making art.
As opposed to the tech and, it's got a specific name. It's the... it's like it's a bad name. It's like the Tech and Innovation Expo is what it is called. Bad.
The entrepreneurs. And the destabilizers and the
and the decentralizers.
That's right.
Yeah. For the disruptors, we'll say.
Disruptors, that's the one I wanted. Thank you.
Yeah, bad. I went there for about half an hour, and then I went back every morning because they had better food and coffee. And then I would leave again.
But so in the past, when you've gone and done that, like you've had like this, you've been able to talk to people like Black Magic people and talk about their like...
Yeah, they were there again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were showing off the new ATEM and stuff, and like some new camera stuff, and I got to mess around with it. And he was like, "Oh yeah, like you do production stuff?" I'm like, "I have one camera." And he's like, "Okay." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You like looking to pick any of these up?" I'm like, "Yeah, maybe like the smallest one you got." And he's like, "Yeah, okay." And I very much, I'm like, I'm not really your focused clientele.
Like your target.
Yeah, I'm here for two things. I'm here to play with the expensive toys, and also your carpet's really comfy.
Right, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but also like there were fewer of the big tech companies there again than there were last year. Last year, like there was like a Qantas thing, and like Amazon used to be there. One of the first things I saw in the Tech and Innovation Expo this year was Big Guess Who.
Is that exactly what that sounds like?
It is exactly what that sounds like. It is a big game of Guess Who.
Fuck yes.
I'm sitting there going like, is this all that's left?
That's the tech?
Yes. It was not electronic. There were no computers involved. It was Big Guess Who.
That's so funny.
I was losing my fucking mind when I saw it.
it's like the nth degree. Like it could have been like Big Chess, you know, but it wasn't. It was Big Guess Who.
It was Big Guess Who. Oh God. Anyway,
So funny.
the game stuff was better. There were fewer night events in the past than there had been. Fewer like just go to Fortress and drink a whole bunch events, which like maybe for the better. I like that, but also maybe for the better. There was an opening night, which was a drinking thing, and then that opening night mostly bled into everybody going to see the Brennan Lee Mulligan Endless Dungeon performance in Sydney, which I mentioned prior, which was very fun. And then from that, there wasn't really a lot of night-specific things until the South by Southwest Screen and Game Awards, which was hosted at a uni bar downstairs from where actually the game stuff was held last year. It was they got through those awards really quick. It was like shockingly quick. But it was really fun. It was a really fun event. A lot of really cool people there and a lot of really cool games. I have some games which I would like to talk about. These games are Noibs, like I teased earlier, I played.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, it's fun.
Oh, it is good.
Yeah.
Because honestly, watching the presentation, I was like, I'm not sure I would really vibe with this. I'm glad to hear you say that.
It's silly. Like, it is a very, very silly, like, kooky kind of thing, but it's fun. It is really fun. That character creator is really, like, extra, to put it kindly. In a, like, like, you just keep putting more ridiculous objects specifically non-symmetrically. Like, that is the part of it that is really fun, is that you can like make this ridiculous Noib, and then you sort of like just make them wander around, and then you get into like a battle. Something which I think like didn't actually come across quite as much, which I found a really interesting mechanic when you're actually doing the auto battling, is that when you're battling, the like appendages that you have attached to your character actually fall off.
Oh, what?
But they stay on the, like, in the arena, and then you're telling your character to go and pick them up. And that includes the enemies' ones as well. And the different types of appendages have different, like types, like categories. The Pokemon equivalent would be like the elements, but they're different in this. I forget what they are, but they are like,
that's right.
It's like style or like buff or like, sass. Like it's not exactly those, but it's kind of like, it's like attitudes. And
adorable.
Yeah. And so you can start to pick up the ones that are like really beneficial to your opponent and sort of shut them out of some of their like moves. But like, it's not extremely strategic, because you're just kind of clicking all of them because you want to pick all of them up, because the more you have, the better it is to like keep them away from your opponent. So it's not grand strategy by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a thing to do in the auto battling that is really quite engaging and funny. And then, like, when you then go back to the overworld of Noibs, you are just wandering around this, like, small town with the other Noibs, and it's all other people's creations. It's all the creations of the developer in this instance, but, like, it would be other players' creations that are wandering around you can chat to and challenge and stuff. It's very cool. It's a very neat little thing. I'm very keen for that to find its community of people who want to make their own Noib. I got to play the OnFunt demo there, which I think you played at PAX, and I've got an interview coming with them at some point. But I got to play it. It's very cool. I actually really liked it. I came out of that interview really high on it. Sorry, out of that preview really high on it.
For listeners who aren't aware.
Oh yeah, right. OnFunt is a puzzle, a third-person puzzle adventure game.
I think they described it as a Metroidvania in some ways.
Right. Okay. It is very like, it's kind of like an old school action adventure puzzle game. Like it's not Ratchet and Clank, but it's kind of got similar like gameplay realistically, where like you will do puzzles, but then you will like just bash up some crabs that are on the beach. You play as an elephant. And you also have like an inventory system as well of different items that you have to pick up and then like move to your thing. Like the actual preview didn't really have a whole lot of actually inventory management aside from just like swapping out the lantern for a spear. But you pick up a lantern and you take it to a spiderweb and it burns a spiderweb so you can progress, and then you pick up the spear because the spear is the only way to break a certain object to then progress, and then move back to the lantern to burn the spiderweb, all that sort of stuff. Walk through water, the lantern goes out, go over to the fire on the other side of the river, reignite it, all those kind of gameplay things. But the really, I think, quite special thing about it is that the art is really, really like impressive in terms of it's mixed between like stylistic fidelity and this like fantasy world that they've got. When I was playing it, there was one specific instance that really quite took me by surprise, which is when you get onto this beach, which is just outside of the starting area of the preview. You get onto this beach and there's this giant, like, kind of mostly dead, but maybe a little bit alive, like shark whale thing that has been beached on this, and it's huge. Like, you are part of the level design as you sort of making your way around the edge of it and then climbing up one of the like fins or something and then climbing over the body to get over to the other side to the rest of the level. And it is this like larger than life animal that is like 9/10 of the way deceased on this beach. And it's just a little bit uneasy because it's this big creature and it's much bigger than an elephant, which doesn't happen that often.
Yeah. And this is like an anthropomorphized child elephant, which is why it's called like enfant, which is like French for infant or child, I'm pretty sure. So
I didn't actually put that together. The entire time I'm playing as Baba.
They should have called it Baba.
And then at the end of the demo, you sort of walk through this big long like sewage pipe, and you're burning these like all these spiderwebs, and at the end there's this very large like Cthulhian-esque creature at the end of it. And so like it's clearly going to play with scale and like different size of being, which I'm it's a thing that I really like in games and fiction. So like it's sort of speaking to things that I really enjoy. I think that's a really cool game. I'm really keen for it. Also, it's a 3-person full-time, and with a few other part-timers, but they've only been working on the game, I think, for just over a year.
Okay, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it because I played this at PAX and I wasn't super impressed with it. That said, I was playing on the Steam Deck, and like it's cool that they've got it running on that because so many people are like, it's on Steam Deck, perfect, great, and it means they can have an extra demo station at the booth too, which is so valuable. However, I don't think the Steam Deck demo did it any favors for me personally, because looking at these screenshots on their Steam page, a lot of the issues I had was that the resolution was very, rather the image resolve was quite noisy and indistinct. Like it felt quite smeary and very indistinct. Like there was, it felt like there was like upscaling noise running through everything. Looking at these screenshots, there's a bit more definition here. I feel like I can grasp what they're trying to show me here a bit better. So I'm sure it will run better on Steam Deck when the game's closer to like being optimized and stuff like that. But yeah, that it kind of put me off when I played it there, honestly.
Yeah, from what I remember, they had 2 laptops running, as opposed to like one laptop and one Steam Deck, and so I was playing it on a laptop connected to like a TV, and so I was getting like a quite a clear image. All the way through. That's what you want for this. Look, they've got like GIFs here now too, so I'm seeing it in motion, and yeah, it looks way better in this format. Yeah, it's a big aspect of its of why it impressed me so much was because of the level of as I said, like its fidelity and its like artistic style coming together really quite well. It's a cool looking game. The other one. The third game that I wish to talk about is a game called Crescent County.
Crescent County.
Crescent County.
Like Crescent, like the moon?
Yes. This is a game about young, like it is what's the phrase? Like coming of age witches on brooms that are motorbikes. I should point out that like one of the developers of the game is a mate. So just as a precursor. However, was not a mate prior to this week. And so like the game impressed me just out of it. The fact of the game impressed me because it's a really cool looking game. There's like a few key things that I really want to stress are really, really cool in this game, which is one, using a broom as a de facto motorbike as a witch through this like countryside, but like this like the countryside that exists in your mind when you think of like summer vacation like town, right? Like what that means in your head for a coming of age story, it is that countryside. And you're racing like your mates who are also on brooms through this countryside. And like I was talking to the developer about it, about how she focused so much on making sure that she got all of the motion stuff right. So like camera pulling back when you're going fast, the camera shifting when you're drifting, chromatic aberration, wind lines, field of view changing, all that stuff. And it's all there really, really well. Specifically mentioning games like Wipeout and other like of the English, because the developer is from England, those English racing games that came out during the like 2000 to 2007 era, like the ones that really, really captured motion in 3D for the first time, all of that stuff is in there. It's really, really sick. The
colors in it are really strong. Like and the lighting it's beautiful.
Well, to go to one of the things that I wanted to mention, the fucking skyboxes in this game are incredible. They are so vibrant and so like impressive all the time in the game. I played it for maybe about 10 or so minutes. Is how long the demo is. It is such a cool looking backdrop for this game. I was so impressed with the skyboxes. And then finally the music. The music is really, really cool. I forget the name of the band. But the team that's making it is engaging actually local musicians nearby in London, I believe, to do the music and to license the music for the game, which is very cool. And also harkens back once again to that like old school English racing game scene where they would like get the local, at that time it was the early electronic music scene, which is why games like Wipeout and stuff have got that, like Chemical Brothers and all of that stuff in the soundtrack, Prodigy, because they engaged local scene and like, what are you doing? Like, this is like, what is the counterculture around here? So we can bring it into it because we're also doing that. Similar thing here, like engaging that local music scene to help really lift up those moments in that game. Banger. It's a real banger.
Yeah, it looks great.
And yeah, like there are a lot of other games that I'm still going through because like I need to go back and set up some more interviews and talk to more people. But like there was a lot of really cool games at South by Southwest as well. The vibes there were also good. Like they were honestly, it was as like to put a point on it. It was like an extension of the vibes of PAX and Games Week. It was more of that. There was a lot of people that went to both, a lot of people that went to a little bit of one and then went to a lot of the other, both directions. But it was a cohesive, good vibe continuation from the how enjoyable it was to be around PAX and talk to everybody that was around PAX and how happy everyone was being at PAX. Yeah, it was really fun. It was really, really fun. And it's much everyone, I had so many people like telling me over the past week, like, oh, you're a madman, you know, doing this after this and blah, blah, blah. And look, to be fair, every person I spoke to that also did both, I'm like, you're a madman. It's actually not that hard. Look, it's long, but it's not, the pace of South by is so much slower. It is much more manageable. It is much more comfortable. Sydney weather is too hot. Sticky, and god damn it, Sydney, can you please learn how to make a good coffee? But like, aside from that, like it's a really good scene there. As I've mentioned in the previous years, that like every year that I come out of that, I'm like, yeah, like there is a community there that is real and it's existing. And it's funny because every single time now, it like what it becomes now is I talk to other people who are from like Brisbane or from Adelaide or from Canberra, and they're like, hell yeah, you got to come to now our event as well. And I'm like,
is it in the other half of the year?
It is in the other half of the year, thank God.
Thank God.
But also them being at Sydney, them being at Melbourne, and then them saying, and also come up to the Brisbane one, come over to the Canberra one. I'm like,
yeah.
Fucking,
your heart wants to. I can see it.
Want to, you know. So it's good. Look, South by Games Festival is getting better each year now. Every year it has gotten better. They have made better changes. A lot of the VR stuff still, unfortunately, was in the tech area still. At the very least, it's in the same building. It's 2 floors above, but it is in the same building. There were some VR games in the Games Festival area, but for the most part, it was like, the difference is like, are they doing tech demo stuff or are they doing like game stuff is sort of where they would draw the line, but there was still some in the tech area. I'm like, I feel like they should be in the other area.
In the same building though is like leaps and bounds better than like on the other side of town.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Was there much of that sense of like scattered venues anymore, or was it all in the ICC?
Look, it depends on the festival pillar. Like all the game stuff for the most part was in the ICC. All the panels were in the ICC, in various like auditoriums or just in the actual games room itself. I should also mention that there was also some tabletop stuff happening as well in the room that was right next to the games room. That actually had a connecting door. So like you could wander in and out. But like for the most part, it did feel very centralized to the games area. Even the opening night drinks thing run by Beethoven Dinosaur was just outside the games area in the park, which is like right outside the ICC. And then the Brennan Lee Mulligan thing was in the big auditorium, which is just the next building over from the ICC.
Awesome.
So all that was really, really close. The screen stuff is a bit more scattered because it's like during the day, a lot of the panel stuff is during the ICC, and then in the evening they're having a lot of the premieres at cinemas. You know, that's expected. And there was actually some short films that were playing at Fortress because they've got like a cinema auditorium up there, which was interesting. And the music stuff is going to be either music panels or at music venues. You know, I think all the tech stuff would have been at ICC, and then the occasional maybe separate installation that was happening somewhere or like a function thing. But yeah, and like honestly, like there was one other really important change that they made, which is the Saturday of South by Southwest was open day, which meant it was
I heard about this.
It was a day where you could register just as an attendee and just go and visit the games showcase. And so that day was much busier than the rest, which is fine. It wasn't overwhelmingly busy, but it was definitely busier, and it was a way for people to actually like come and see what is this thing that is taking over like the whole city. You know, being able to play these games, which some of the games that were there, like they're really early in development. They're like, yeah, we've made this vertical slice to take to like VC, to take to investor, to take to someone that will invest in our game and hopefully allow us to make the full version of it. But like, we've got this and we don't actually have any more, and we don't even have a Steam page because we're not doing that yet. We're trying to find investors. they are able then to still get people to come and play it that are like not industry people and just have general audience.
To like gauge interest.
Yeah,
and
which like I'm sure they already do through like, oh, like, you know, they're messaging their friends like, oh, can you just play my game for a little bit? Let me know what you think. Family member, play my game, blah, 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 blah. But they're able to just get people coming up to them and they can gauge an interest that they wouldn't have necessarily had. And they certainly don't have the money to go to a PAX and certainly don't have the money to set up a booth at another convention. But they're able to do it there because they're a part of South by. As well as games that are doing wishlisting, that it was worth it for them to actually have a Steam page and offer doing wishlisting. It was funny the last year when there were some games that were like, oh, you can wishlist us on Steam, and I'm like, yeah, like, right, but like, I'm media, that's a developer, that's a publisher, that's an investor. Like, no one here is really here to like add games to our wish list. And what numbers are you going to get realistically at the end of that? They were able to gauge the level of wish lists they got from one day extremely accurately, which totally. I'm very fascinated to know how well that has gone for them. But as far as I can tell from everyone I spoke to, it was an extraordinarily welcome addition. And I was talking to one of the coordinators of the show, Luke Lancaster, about it on the Saturday in the room. I'm like, there's a lot of people here, man. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, this is really good. He's like, this is working exactly how we had hoped it was going to work. Yeah, it was good. It was a really, really cool thing. What was also funny is that it started off really quiet and everyone's looking around going like, oh, it might just be kind of a quiet day.
Oh, right.
And then it hit about 11:30 and I was like, okay, like there's people here, there's kids, there's, you know, parents, there's like, you know, young adults who are like maybe thinking of getting into games. They can talk to developers, all that stuff. Like it was a good mix of the people you'd want to go to something like that.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah. It was good. It was really good.
Awesome. Also a good way for starting media people to get their dip their toes in if they weren't able to get a media pass, but they're still nearby. They can come through and get a vibe. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, like there were like larger games there that were not released, you know, like Mixtape, the new game from Beethoven Dinosaur, was there on that day and they were showing it off to anyone that wanted to play, which is a game coming out soon. Like that's cool. Like, that's a really cool thing to be able to play. So yeah, like it's good. And then I
hell yeah. Well, I'm really pleased to hear that because it's, you know, sometimes it's been a bit hit or miss.
Yeah, like look, I still actually don't know if the show will the entire show will live on past its contract. That's not to say like I've not heard anything contrary, but like it's a very expensive show to take over the entirety of Sydney, a famously
like the most expensive city in the country. Yeah, like
yeah, and so I think that the Games Festival as a whole is a success. You know, having a Brennan Lee Mulligan thing, having Danny O'Dwyer come down, Skill Up do a panel. One of the designers for Ghost of Yotei was there and doing a panel and allows, you know, other developers to come and do a small talk on it, do a 30-minute, like I'm just going to play and talk over my play and you can just ask me questions on the panel. Like it's like there's a lot of different ways to do all that stuff. And there was also like a pitching round of stuff that happened as well. Like you can just like there are sections where you can just go and pitch your game to like investors, like it as a deliberate event. I don't know what the tech side of it really gets. Like I'm sure there's conversations and meetings and stuff that can happen, but it's like a lot of like they've got a much better amount of like a much larger amount of startup stuff happening there, which I think is good. Honestly, they've got their own little PAX Rising is what it is. It's like there are small round table booths like dotted around and you can go and talk to people that are looking to start up their little tech business. I think that overall the concept of that is good regardless of the quality of some of the stuff based on, you know, blockchain AI, blah, 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 blah. But the rest of it is kind of crap there. It's like the drone flying thing is here again and and there was a huge like installation for like the Sydney Morning Herald or something, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not even gonna go near it. They're like, do you want to come into this thing? I'm like, no, like I don't, I really don't. Yeah. And like the music and screen stuff, like is probably fine. Like the music and stuff and screen stuff seems to handle its own weight well enough. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like it's a really expensive thing, and so I don't know where the money really comes and goes for it. My hope is that if South by does disappear, that the game festival actually just continues into its own thing. I don't think they would be able to do like a fly out Danny O'Dwyer double hit with Brentley Mulligan running a show that then you can get a ticket to for free because you've already got the games pass, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't think that is going to work, but I think that at the very least, the festival show and like the awards and stuff, I think will continue regardless, just based on how, like, I don't think that the community in Sydney would allow it to not continue.
I see. Right. It's too valuable to the games community. Yeah. Well, that's exciting. It's cool. Like to think that they're starting something here, whether it's going to last or not. There's still a community here that's developed and is enthused enough, you think, to maintain past a theoretical endpoint. That's cool.
And like I spoke to some developers who are not from Sydney or Melbourne, and some of them who are not even from Australia, and they were like, yeah, like this has become a must go to now as a part of my like end of the year like events period. Is like, yeah, like this is now just part of it. Like I just come here for a few days.
Cool. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'll do it all again next year.
Yeah, get ready. Get ready to book your accommodation and book your flights.
Yeah, honestly, I think the moment the dates show up, I'm just going to do what I did last time, which is just book my accommodation, pay when I get there. That way I've got it.
Totally. And, it ended up working for you this year that way because you needed that flexibility right up until you didn't.
Yeah.
Well, cool. It's it has been a really fun time, really cool couple of weeks. I'm still reeling from the stuff that we have to do, that we've been able to sort of line up from these last couple of weeks and from PAX. And there's so much stuff I want to write about, and we've got videos to edit, and it's cool to be in that position of like, here's all this stuff we've got in the pipe.
And also we could just keep going, like it's one of the things where it's like the amount of people that we spoke to over those weeks, like I said, like I'll talk to you in 20 days. Like it's so easy to continue just rolling through all that stuff into into next year of just like, oh yeah, that was that game that I saw at PAX ages ago. That'd be great to talk to, like there was so much of that. There's so much of those really cool games and those really cool conversations still swimming in my head from both events, that now just makes me want to just continue to engage with those people, because what they were showing was not only so good, they were showing it at the best place to show it at. Like I think PAX and South by really elevated the actual games that were being shown there to be shown in some of the best ways.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's wrap it up. That's the end of this episode of the MiniMapCast. Thank you very, very much for listening. The best way to make sure you don't miss the next ones is to follow us on social media, which is at MiniMapAU on every platform that isn't Blue Sky. And to find us on Blue Sky, we are at minimap.com.au. Kerry, where can they find you on social media?
Pretty much exclusively on Blue Sky at this point. That's kjpalmer.bsky.social.
And you can find me on Blue Sky at jeremy.minimap.com.au. Kerry giving me the raised eyebrows of approval.
The raised eyebrows of, can we remember it this time?
Yeah.
I can never remember your Blue Sky handle anymore.
I know. Well, like I know it is. Yeah, it is that. It is that. I got it right. And you can also head to minimap.com.au for absolutely everything else that Minimap related, including the Minidisc podcast and the Box of Scraps, a Marvel Studios history show. What are you pointing at?
I pointed to the website.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yes. So I thought you were pointing at something for me to do.
Not my posters. Not my posters. Yeah. No, at minimap.com.au.
Yeah, and also like there's going to be a bunch of coverage going up. We've already put up the Metroid Prime preview. There's a Kirby preview coming up. I've got 4 or 5 interviews coming soon. One on the PAX show floor, the rest mostly at South by, but some of those are a part of my PAX coverage because it's the people that I met at PAX and wanted to do it in a quieter room. There's a lot of that stuff coming soon. And finally, Minimap is completely independent and funded almost entirely out of our own pocket to help keep the mics and lights on. You can support us by becoming a patron for only $5 a month. You can know that if you do that, you are indeed supporting the show, and you will also gain access to some of our special bonus features, like taking trips down memory lane. We actually recorded one recently, which was the E3 conference for Nintendo for the year
2015.
15, yes. The middle of the Wii U, which is also the end of the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Yeah, it's such an awkward middle step for that for where Nintendo was.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because you hadn't realized that. You were like, oh, we're only getting Wii U and 3DS games here. I'm like, yeah, brother. Strap in.
It wasn't that. There was more of a like, oh my God, we're only going to see these.
Yeah. Star Fox Zero's the headliner.
Yeah. God.
It was fun. It was fun to watch along though.
Oh yeah, no, it was a really funny episode. You can support us by heading on over to minimap.com.au. Sorry, you can head on over to patreon.com/minimapau to help us out. And remember, $5 Australian is much, much, much cheaper than a latte with oat milk.
It's just, you just can't even buy a latte with oat milk for that money anymore.
No, I don't think you can get a latte normally for less than $5 at this point. It's bad.
Unless you're probably rolling the dice at that point. Like it might be a shit coffee if it's $5 or less.
Yeah, if someone's like, oh yeah, it's like $4.80. I'm like, you heard me, right? Like a latte. Like what?
Yeah.
Which one of us has made a mistake that this is the outcome that's happening right now?
It's so fucked up that like 6 or 7 years ago that would have been like $4.80.
Are you kidding me? But then I could support minimap.com.au on Patreon. Thank you very, very much for watching. Hugo Weaving, if you're listening, respond to my email. Have a good night.
See you next year.